What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ULTA for Ulta Beauty. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will be an update. The last time we talked about it, ironically enough, was a full earnings cycle ago, and we also got earnings after the bell on today's session. So let's flip on the extended hours and see what's going on with the number. So clearly making a move higher here, which is fairly impressive, noting that a lot of the earnings recently did result in gap downs. So let's do what we always do and take out the framework here. I'm actually going to clean up the daily chart just so we can start from scratch here with clarity. We of course want to know where the overnight high is, and we want to know where the forecasted open is. Do remember and update accordingly that a lot can happen between now and 9:30, so please adjust for the actual open. We also want to know while we're here where the high of today's session was, down there at 384.45. With all of that in place, let's turn that back off and focus over on the daily time frame chart to talk in terms of scenarios. So first things first, whenever we're dealing with a gap, could be a gap up or a gap down, you have to think about the gap and trap. And what that means is opening here, failing to attract new buyers up and over the overnight high, trading back lower through the open is essentially a short trade to fill the gap down to the prior day's high, which as we pointed out is 384.45. Now, do I think it fills that all in one day? I mean, it could. If you look at some of the expansive ranges to the downside that we've seen, it certainly does have some range, and it has enough movement here where that type of candle wouldn't be completely off the board. Also note that at the gap fill area, we have the daily 50 SMA, which is generally seen as a powerful area of support or resistance if testing it from the bottom side up. So that is noteworthy that we will have kind of a super support on the gap fill. So I would start to be thinking if the gap does fill, then look out for hammer candles that print down here, essentially looking for the gap fill reversal, right? So that's two trades in one, essentially, if, again, this pans out to the downside on tomorrow morning's session. The flip side of this coin is the gap and go. So this is the scenario that I'm sure a lot more people are thinking about. This would be opening here, driving into the overnight high, some sort of bullish structure gets put in, bull flag, could be an ascending triangle, right? Could look something like this, where your lows are getting higher as well. Take the break of this overnight high to get us into the next obvious area of daily resistance, which, as we know, we're kind of at all-time highs, right? If you sort of split the difference, the overnight high as of right now is kind of the all-time high. Now, technically speaking, sure, it's 417.85, so do have that on your radar as well, but you generally don't want to cherry pick the exact high. You want to see where it's resisted in the past before you get into that level. So if it breaks all of that as a zone of kind of resistance here, ultimately the true all-time high goes, all of that's all well and good. You're looking at whole and half dollars, intraday levels that do form, probably on a stock that's trading above 400 now. You'd just be looking at whole dollars, $5 marks, $10 marks, $25 marks. You get the gist, right? As we're moving into blue sky territories on such a pricey stock. So that's the upside scenario, and I actually could see it panning out, noting that we spent a long time in this area of consolidation, essentially going nowhere in between earnings cycles. And with this good news coming out for the stock, I mean, maybe it's enough of a catalyst if we can break out here to move a little bit higher, maybe 430 starts to act as a magnet. So those are my thoughts inside of Ulta Beauty. It's all going to depend on either opening for the gap and trap or the gap and go. We have the framework in place to trade both of those setups and even potentially the gap fill reversal down here at the fill from today's high of day. Nothing really to read into from the intraday charts here. I suppose if the move is lower, there might be a bit of a support portion here at 397.50-ish, we'll call it for round number's sake, the prior end of this range right here, but still probably a bump in the road. I would ultimately look for this to fill over time to that 384.45 as we discussed. So those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.